Hey everybody, what's going on? It's another episode of Monday Night Raw. We're 2 weeks away from Over the Limit pay-per-view. I'm excited, you're excited, we're all excited. Let's just jump right into Monday Night Raw. Alright, so we have a dark show match with the Tokyo Pimp Yujiro Takahashi defeating Silas Young with Atsushi Otashi, with Tokyo Pimp Yujiro Takahashi looking really good. Getting a 61, absolutely carrying the match for the most part. Just a pretty much basic squash match with the local talent. And we cut to the main show, in which Chris Jericho opens the show. He says the Big Show isn't here tonight, and he doesn't need him to win his match tonight, which is going to be Evan Bourne. Actually, it's the opening match. And he also doesn't need him to win the WWE title at the Triple Threat at Over the Limit. Evan Bourne comes out and he jaw jacks with Chris Jericho, setting up, I wrote the main event, it should be setting up the match. I don't know why I'm writing it, I guess just to give myself some satisfaction. At least it wasn't a Chris Hero sneak attack again. But yeah, no, it's Chris Jericho and Evan Bourne, and they start their match up. Jericho obviously still, he's not too heelish in nature, but he shows some signs of it every once in a while. Evan Bourne, doing his way to outflip Jericho using that athleticism. But all of a sudden, a really big man in a Sin Cara mask and a Kofi Kingston t-shirt just runs up and just punches Evan Bourne. And the thing about it is the man kind of looks, he looks similar. You might be able to tell who it is. It's the Big Show. It's clearly the Big Show. But you couldn't see his face, so technically it's not the Big Show. So probably heel Michael Cole's like, I wonder who that was, and then JR is like, you're a fucking idiot. But going off of that. But yeah, no, 91A match, good match from these two, and I figured it would do. So we got a good match there. Next we have, Steve Austin, Raw's sheriff or general manager, is backstage. He's looking for Yujiro Takahashi, eventually finding a room guarded by two bunnies, quote unquote. We'll use that from now on. Austin then comes inside. They let him in, and we see Yujiro sitting on an actual throne, 2 beers in hand, surrounded by a bunch of hot women. Austin then confirms to him. He says, "Look, at Over the Limit, the match is official. Bray Wyatt will defend his U.S. title against you." Yujiro is excited at the news, and he offers Austin a beer, who accepts the beer, does his usual fan opening, it maybe scares a bunch of the women, and then leaves. But as that happens, we cut to commercial. When we come back, the feud is overtaken by Bray Wyatt. He's surrounded by his family. Bray Wyatt rants about how Takahashi is a disgrace, a sex-driven fool, and an incubus, most likely hell-bent on the destruction of America and its moral values. But like all those come before him, Evan Bourne, Shelton Benjamin, the Piper, Roddy Piper, he will mate Sister Abigail's kiss, and it'll all be over. So just hyping up. So it is official. It's Yujiro Takahashi and Bray Wyatt are going to be going at it, which is my favorite thing of all time. And holy shit, we have, I always love, Inzane's the best. We have a match that didn't have, that had decent wrestling, but didn't have much heat. I mean, it's 98 A-star, I don't know what they wanted. Zayn defeated England's finest in 20 minutes, 6 seconds when Sami Zayn defeats Nicholas Magnus with a brain buster. But during the match, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose of The Shield run in and attack both Douglas Williams and Nicholas Magnus. The war between The Shield and The Shield and England's finest continues with another loss column in England's finest corner. We'll then have a decent little match between AJ Lee and Italia, non-title match, with AJ Lee getting the win after submitting Italia with a Black Widow. Just kind of cooling the crowd down after that barn burner of a match. We don't want the Fargo Dome to be too excited after that match. And we're going to cut to the next segment. And then we have a segment in which Kofi Kingston, he's got a mic and he's going to cut a promo on Jericho. He says, you just proved yourself, Chris Jericho, that you're a coward. You always need the Big Show's help. And the Big Show proves that he's just a liar. He had tweeted, we have Big Show's Twitter account. He like tweeted a picture of him at like, I don't know, like some fucking place in Fargo. But now we know what he actually was doing. They're both cowards, and that's why Kofi Kingston has the moral high ground. But as he's trying to get all this out, we just see in the background The Miz just flipping his shit out. He's just ranting and raving. He's yelling about Steve Austin, denying him a match at Over the Limit. He's denying CM Punk, Randy Orton. He points at Kofi Kingston for a bit like, I should be facing you at Over the Limit. And he's just making a massive stink about everything. And Kofi's just like, that's weird. And The Miz also uses that line about, knowing stuff that even Steve Austin knows. That kind of weird Bray Wyatt-esque cultist line. We're beating it into the viewer's head. It's very awkward. But, hey, what are you going to do? We then cut to a segment in which Wade Barrett and England's Finest are absolutely pissed. And they are backstage in their locker room tearing it apart. There's, how they had the pay-per-view posters on the wall? That's fucking thrown against everything. They're breaking everything in their path. And then it's R-Truth. R-Truth comes in. He's like, hey, you little Jimmies. How you doing, fellow kids? The three men literally, they turn to look at R-Truth, and they just beat the poor man in the next week. Poor R-Truth just wanted to see what was happening. He wanted to make sure everyone was alright. And those dastardly England's Finest, they just beat R-Truth like they beat Alex Riley and Mason Ryan. Another civilian casualty, I guess, in the massive war for dominance between two stables. What can you do? And then we have a 99A star match in which Daniel Bryan takes on Randy Orton. And Daniel Bryan taps Randy Orton out after interference from CM Punk. CM Punk whacks maybe Randy Orton with something, somehow allowing Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan doesn't notice it. He gets the win. In 20 minutes in an absolute banger of a 99A star match. And then CM Punk starts beating up Randy Orton. And CM Punk turns to Daniel Bryan and is like, help me out. And Daniel Bryan clotheslines CM Punk out of the ring. And then he helps Randy Orton. And it's very odd because, maybe, if you watch Superstars, which you should, maybe Daniel Bryan really meant that better Daniel Bryan, like he's changing his ways. And he shakes hands with Daniel Bryan. He shakes hands with himself. He gives himself a handshake. No, he shakes hands with Randy Orton to end the segment. A fun little thing. And CM Punk looks pissed off that he has been denied a more vicious Randy Orton beating. And then we cut to a small segment backstage in which AJ Lee and Beth Phoenix, they're just beating the crap out of each other backstage. It's vicious. Women's GM Trish Stratus and the Sheriff, Stone Cold Steve Austin, they are needed to pull the two women apart. This isn't happening on Monday Night Raw. That's not how it goes down. And the two women have to be separated, and they have to leave the building before it escalates any further. And the feud between Beth Phoenix, AJ Lee, I think you got to wonder if it's building up because, on Beth's part, because everyone thinks she can't pull it out, the victory. And then AJ on the stress of knowing that it's not Money in the Bank or whenever she wants, but Beth Phoenix has that opportunity to cash in a title shot. And then we have a match between Kofi Kingston, the main event, Kofi Kingston and Kane, in which Kofi Kingston wins with the SOS. But during the ending segments, Chris Jericho and the Big Show run out, distracting Kingston, but it's not enough as he still gets the win over Kane. I wanted this match to get into the A segment, but fuck you, Kane, you suck. But we do have the next segment in which, after distracting him, Jericho run down. Big Show doesn't even have the mask and shirt on anymore. They're not playing around. They just beat Kofi Kingston. They use the number games. Chokeslam, Codebreaker, walls of Jericho, knockout punch. Kofi's left, brutalized in the ring as Jericho soaks in the momentum heading into their title match at Over the Limit. And that's how we end the show. Let's see how the show did. 94 A-star match. 94, not A-star. 94 rated show. And pretty good show overall. I was pretty happy with this one, setting up. Only 2 weeks away from Over the Limit. You know, I'll see you guys for SmackDown, and that. In case you didn't know, I am currently recording all these in a big section. But after that, I'm going to be taking, not a small break, but by that point, hopefully, I will have a new PC ready, up and going, so I'll have to transfer all of the stuff to that in order to record. So the save might, maybe there'll be some in-betweens for stuff. We'll just have to see when that happens. So I'll see you guys all at that point.